Hello and welcome to another edition of BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem, a show where we answer your most pressing questions about the most recent episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved, which was Bella in the Wych Elm. All the questions we're answering today came from you guys via our BuzzFeed Unsolved Facebook page, our BuzzFeed Unsolved Instagram page, as well as directly on the video on Bond.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about Bella in the Wych Elm. As you can all see, we are quarantined still. It's had no effect on any of our mental faculties. In fact, I feel better than ever.
I feel strong. Yes. We got a lot of good questions about the episode this week, and boy, are we excited to answer them.
But before we get into those, we got some art, Shane, as usual.
Oh, we got some art. Okay, so the first one we have is from Dazeley Draws.
Christine, in parentheses, Christine.
And that's us at the Viper Room.
That's the symbol of friendship right there.
Yes.
That's when we proclaim to the world that we are friends.
If you watch the bloopies, you'll see that, in fact, the scene takes quite a turn after the cut. Yeah.
I forget. What happens?
I think I say we're not really friends, and that I'm only doing it for the cameras.
You son of a bitch. Unbelievable. You hurt me again.
I love it. The next one is from Michelangelo, or Mikkel Hagen. Now this one is full of stuff.
This is from the Goatman Bridge, but it also has the St. Augustine Lighthouse, Mothman,
it's got
Goatman.
The dolls.
Oh my God, this has so many fun little Easter eggs. Bigfoot having a beer.
Wonderful. He's giving me the deed to the bridge.
Mikkel, amazing work. This is fantastic.
That's fun. As always, just tag us in your art, and then we'll see it. So this week we're talking about Bella and the Wych Elm. In the Wych Elm. Who put her there? That's the question.
That's the question. That's the conundrum. Well, let's go to Instagram first to see what they're thinking about. This comes from HTX_cool_aid_man.
What a big name.
Shane, if you could switch bodies with Ryan, would you do it?
No.
You wouldn't?
No. I wouldn't ever want to be shorter than I am.
That's fair. I mean, you would have a little more muscle on you, though.
But then I'd have to be shoveling muscle tech into my mouth every day, and I really don't want to do that.
It's not muscle tech, Shane. It's just protein powder that's healthy for you to recover after a healthy workout.
But it is called muscle tech, isn't it?
Well, I can't control what the name of it is.
And you've got cases and cases of it. You can't even walk around your apartment. Wouldn't it be great if they were a sponsor of this show?
All right.
BuzzFeed Unsolved True Crime, brought to you by Muscle Tech.
Welcome to the chilling murder of Bella in the Wych Elm, sponsored by Muscle Tech. Let's blend this case like we blend my shakes, baby. I will say, Shane, that I would trade bodies with you, but only for a week.
Yeah, you'd want to go back. I mean, a Freaky Friday thing would probably be fun. We could play pranks on people. Okay, here's from YouTube. Right. Here's from Alexander Burt for the hashtag postmortem. As a Brummie, I'd love to hear you guys try to do Birmingham accents. Birmingham? Birmingham? We were saying it wrong in the episode, is the thing.
I mean, that scans for me. I say a lot of things wrong in the episode. I say a lot of stupid things in episodes because, spoiler alert, I'm a dumb man.
He says, also, I would definitely stuff a drunk friend into a tree. So you get a little local color there.
Are you familiar with the dialect he's referring to?
No, not at all. I could look it up on the internet.
Here's what we'll do. We'll do a little accent telephone, if you will. You'll say your version of the Birmingham accent, and then I will do my accent based on you. And we'll see how far away from it actually is from the actual accent.
What you doing? What you doing? What you doing?
What you doing? What you doing? What you doing?
Hey, what you doing?
Hey, what you doing? I'm just walking here. We're making an organic Ryan and Shane say what you doing for 10 hours YouTube video right now.
Yes. What you doing?
What you doing?
What you doing? We've got a lot of wonderful comments from a lot of Brummies, as I think they call themselves. So it's nice to hear from them.
That's fun. That's real fun. Well, let's move on. Let's move to Facebook. This is a question that is relevant to the case. This comes from Susan Epp. Hashtag postmortem. What if she was a spy who parachuted by Hagley Wood, but her parachute didn't open? And then maybe another spy stuffed her into the tree so there would be less of a chance of the authorities finding and identifying her. Love you guys.
Wait, so she's a spy, but then a spy finds her? How many spies are there?
Well, in this case, there would be like a spy, like a tactical insertion of sorts, where two spies
Like a spy
drop
buddy.
in.
Like a
Yeah,
spy
well, I
buddy.
mean, like I imagine they send spies in pairs. At least that's what the movies would have you believe.
Oh,
Anyways,
like Boris and Natasha.
sure. I don't know who that. Wait, who's that?
From Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh, I never was like a fan of that cartoon, and I heard the movie sucked. So,
You kind of got Rocky vibes to you.
do I?
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know if that's
So-
a compliment or an insult, but I'll take it.
I
as
don't
a
know
compliment.
either, but we'll figure it out, I guess.
Is he the little squirrel? Who's the squirrel?
He's a little squirrel, yeah.
Oh fuck yeah! I'd love to be a squirrel. I love squirrels
Yeah.
so much. Anyways, this is my favorite theory from the episode. I do think that she was a spy. I will say though, I don't know why another spy would stuff her into a tree.
Yeah, I mean, why would you do that?
Well, you would think that if you're a spy, you would have a little bit more absolute measures to get rid of body evidence.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, put him in a barrel and throw it in the sea or something.
Yeah, or melt them in this funny little tub with this special solution.
Sorta,
It seems
yeah,
kind of
haphazard.
haphazard for a spy to be like, ah shit, if they find this body, I'm ruined. I'm given away. I guess I'll just shove her in a tree.
Because you gotta imagine if that were the case, Spy goes back to Spy Boss, and Spy Boss is like, how's Clara doing? What happened with her? It's like, well, I found her body. Whoa, did you put it in a barrel and throw it in the sea or dissolve it in your special solution in a funny little tub? And they said, no, but I took care of her. Well, what'd you do? I shoved her in a tree. What?
It was a real narrow tree.
It was a real narrow tree, but it looked real spooky. Well, why would you do that? I don't know. I'm the bad spy. Maybe it's a bad spy. That could be the answer. I got one over on YouTube I think you'll like, Ryan. This is from Architect. Would love to see Princess Diana.
Like currently?
I think that's what they mean. They would love to meet Princess Diana. And I gotta say, she was the people's princess, and I would love to see her too. You could probably pick her brain about a lot of things, hear her, thoughts on things. Unfortunately, I don't know if you have kept up with the news, but she did pass quite a while ago.
So this person's definitely not asking for us to cover Princess Diana's death.
I don't think so. They just said would love to see Princess Diana.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, not in the current state, but back in the past, if I had like a time machine or something like that. This comes from Nick Stanton, #postmortem. Even though it was stated that she couldn't get in the tree without significant tearing, if there was an air raid siren, I feel like it's possible that in a heightened state of fear, she could have jammed herself in the tree to take cover, gotten stuck, and died. Due to the adrenaline from the fear, she may have not felt the pain as she climbed in. Just a theory, #Shaniac for life.
I never in my life would think, you know what? Gotta hide in a tree. You know what would help me here? Hiding in a tree.
You know what would help me from these very flammable bombs that are about to be dropped on me? Hiding in a big thing of wood. Yeah, I don't think that makes a lot of sense, nor do I think that even in a state of adrenaline could you ignore the significant amount of tearing that would occur to shove yourself in that tiny of a diameter of a trunk. That doesn't make any sense to me.
This is from Genequa. #postmortem. This is because of the tornado sirens thing. During tornado season, would they sound the tornado alarm every day at noon in Illinois, or is that just my town in Kansas? First Tuesday of the month. That's when they do it in Illinois. Every day at noon?
This is just part of your lives? Tornado sirens?
Yes. If you're not familiar with tornado sirens, Ryan, then frankly, you don't know fear. They're very scary. I think tornadoes are scarier than earthquakes.
I don't know if that's true.
You've seen Twister, right?
I have seen Twister, but you have seen the news, though, over the last decade, right?
I've seen some news.
I don't want to say these, like comparing these two like they're fighters of some sort, but I will say that the stats when it comes to devastation in regards to earthquakes, and I also consider into those stats the aftershock and results from that earthquake, like a tsunami or something like that. So
I guess so. Yeah, certainly there's long-term detrimental effects to earthquake. It's more of a wider zone of destruction, but I guess in the moment, the sheer terror of a giant cyclone. I've got some, every now and then on a Friday night, I'll just queue up some tornado videos and just stare in awe.
Weird guy. Well, we're gonna continue into YouTube questions here. Kim, for the postmortem, what if she had been there for a really long time, like more than 18 months, and the tree just grew around her body?
That's a good question. Good theory.
I doubt this one is possible, and I think that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, because the only fast-growing trees I know, my pa planted some aspens in the backyard at some point, and those grow incredibly fast, but they're very thin, certainly not capable of housing a lady.
And also just the horrifying image of a tree trunk slowly growing over a standing up corpse over time as the body is decaying and the trunk is just growing little by little. It would look horrifying.
Isn't there a big scary tree in the Sleepy Hollow, Tim Burton, where doesn't Chris Walken jump out of a tree in that?
That's another film that I actually skipped because I heard it wasn't Tim's best work, which frankly, not a lot of good work being put out by Tim as of late.
Here's from Ty the Guy Don't Know, also on YouTube. For the postmortem, Shane, do you only collect butterflies or is there other things you like to collect? Also, love you boys' style this episode. Ryan, the bandana is very stylish. I don't actually collect butterflies. My girlfriend, I've expressed interest in collecting butterflies, and my girlfriend bought me this beautiful blue butterfly that I have in a glass case. I would like to, at some point, get more of them. Brian, do you have any collections? I know you have your sneaks.
I collect sneakers. I used to, when I was a kid, collect rare gems and minerals.
I had a lot of gems. I was a big gem head.
I used to collect rubber duckies when I was a kid too.
Well, now that's fun.
I think let's move into our last segment here, which is Toast Mortem, a substitution for the evil twin of Roast Mortem.
That's right. Now, Toast Mortem is a time when we toast one of something in a happy way, because who needs the negativity right now, really? Like, there's a lot going on in this world, and why not toast things? So I've got my non-branded water flask here, and I'm gonna toast with that. Water.
I'm out of water in this, but you know, I'll pretend like I had some. I didn't even really pretend, that was half-assed. But either way, let's move into Toast Mortem. Here we go.
This from Izzy B on YouTube. Izzy B sounds like a busy bee to me. Toast Mortem. Toast to the guy doing the graffiti. He sounds like a laugh. He really does. A toast to that guy.
What a fun little prankster. Just, I guess not that fun. He was writing misleading clues about a missing woman.
Yeah, but he probably told his friends at the pub, like, oh, you won't believe what I did this week and what I will continue to do. Now these other ones don't actually seem like roast mortems, or toast mortems so much as roast mortems.
Here's the thing, they made me laugh though. This comes from DGlisten1, hashtag Toast Mortem. I love how he still hashtagged it Toast Mortem. Did Ryan play a few rounds of Russian roulette? Looks like Chris Walken in The Deer Hunter. It's a good cinema reference, and I really do look like Chris Walken in The Deer Hunter.
You do quite a bit look like, I mean...
Bella in The Wych Elm.
A Walken-centric episode here. This is the second time we brought him up. One last one from Jerry Korn. How is Ryan a full-blown adult that thinks hair grows out of the skull?
This one also cracked me up.
Hashtag postmortem, hashtag it does not, Ryan, hashtag I know that and I failed anatomy.
Here's the thing. When I said that in the episode, I don't recall actually how I said it in the episode, but what I was thinking was not that it grows like out of my brain in through my skull out of my head. I thought for whatever reason that it just would get implanted in the skull purely out through the epidermal layer there, like it would just become stuck there. Not that I guess.
Yes, you saying it grows out of the skull must have been a joke, right?
Yeah, it was not. Also, a reminder, like I said, I'm a dumb man. So I don't know why any of you people listen to me.
We're both very stupid.
Yeah, I don't care. But it did give me a good little giggle.
Well, Ryan, what would you say is coming up this week on BuzzFeed Unsolved True Crime Season 6?
Let's see here. When it comes to all these cases, it really is hard for me to shepherd them home in the home stretch of my research.
Yes.
And I'll say that this next episode was no exception.
And if you have a hard time figuring out what Ryan is hinting at, then I gotta be honest with you. I don't care.
That does it for this episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem. Make sure you watch the episode this Friday and leave your questions on the BuzzFeed Unsolved Instagram account, the BuzzFeed Unsolved Facebook page, or comment directly on the video on Bun. And maybe you'll be
and we'll see you
in the next episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem.
That's right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Hair grows out of your brain.
It's not true. Not true. Bye-bye.